Recently, I had a couple, retired, ready to go. They'd already mentally moved in, sitting across from me, ready to write an offer on a home in Sun City Shadow Hills. And I stopped them, asked them two questions. They looked at each other, and within about 30 seconds, they realized that this wasn't actually their community. We ended up finding them a different home here in the Coachella Valley, and they're very happy. But if we hadn't had that conversation first, well, that's buyer's remorse waiting to happen. So today, I'm giving you the exact same no BS consultation I give every client before we ever set foot inside those gates. The stuff that doesn't show up on the listing page and that nobody really puts in a brochure. By the end of this, you'll know whether Sun City Shadow Hills is your place or whether you'd be better off somewhere else. If you're new here, my name is Neil and I make videos all about living here in the Palm Springs area. I'm also a top producing real estate agent and I help people just like you make this area their new home. And we're going to start with the video today by talking about the pros and cons of living in Sun City Shadow Hills so you can get an idea for the look and feel and whether this community is right for you. Let's start with the pros. And I want to lead with something that most buyers don't even think about until they're already deep into their home search. Sun City Shadow Hills is a complete community built in phases between 2003 and 2016. All 3,450 homes are built. The streets are established, the landscaping is mature, the golf courses are dialed in. No heavy equipment waking you up at 7 in the morning. No vacant lots next to your backyard. No wondering what that empty space is eventually going to become. When you buy here, you see exactly what you're getting, the whole picture right in front of you. For buyers who've looked at new communities that are still being built, that certainly is genuinely one of the most underrated advantages this place has to offer. And with HOA fees running under $400 a month, covering 2 clubhouses, golf course maintenance, landscaping, and 24-hour security, the value equation is really hard to argue with. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because the next one directly affects your monthly expenses in a way that most buyers don't realize until they're already in escrow. Sun City Shadow Hills sits in Indio, which means it's served by the Imperial Irrigation District, IID, not Southern California Edison for electricity. And that matters more than you might think. Picture this. It's July here in the Coachella Valley. It's 115 degrees outside. And you're running the AC hard from about 10 in the morning until 10 at night. In a comparable home on the west side of the Coachella Valley, Palm Desert, PalmSprings, Rancho Mirage, anywhere on Southern California Edison, that bill can hit $400 to $500, even higher. Same house, same usage. Over here on IID, well, you're looking at something closer to $300 to $350. So that's rates running about 30 to 40% lower, and over 10 years of retirement, that's a lot of money that's staying in your pocket just for living over here on this side of the Coachella Valley. For buyers on a fixed income, that's not a small detail. That's a built-in budget advantage that most people don't even know exists until someone tells them about it. The third thing working in your favor is the Del Webb brand itself. Del Webb has been building active adult communities for decades, and that name does carry real weight with buyers. When it comes time to sell, you're not asking someone to take a chance on an unknown developer. You're offering them a brand that they already know and trust. That brand recognition keeps demand steady and protects your resale value in a way that smaller or newer communities simply can't match yet. And then there's the security piece. Sun City Shadow Hills is guard gated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I hear this from buyers all the time after they've settled in, that they feel safer here than anywhere else they've ever lived. That peace of mind is real, and for a lot of people, it's non-negotiable. And then there's the social life. This is the one that genuinely surprises people. Buyers come in here thinking that they want a quiet retirement, a little golf, maybe a neighbor or two to wave at, but within a few weeks, their calendar is packed. Think summer camp for adults, clubs, events, golf tournaments, line dancing, game nights, fitness classes, seasonal parties, 2 massive clubhouses, the Montecito and the Santa Rosa, and there's almost always something going on. People who assume they'd be homebodies end up being the most socially active that they've been in years. But then there is a social trap here that catches certain buyers off guard, and I'll get into the cons. Okay, so those are the big 5 pros: the completed community, the electric savings, the Del Webb brand name, the security, and that social scene. But this is where I have to be straight with you, because not everything about Sun City Shadow Hills works for everyone. The biggest con, and nobody disputes this, is the summer heat. Indio sits at the eastern end of the Coachella Valley, and the summers here are serious. Consistent triple digits from June through September, with some stretches where it doesn't cool down much even at night. That's real, and you need to go in with your eyes wide open. But here's how people who actually love this community think about it. They treat it like a ski resort in reverse. Ski towns empty out in the summer because that's the off-season. And Sun City Shadow Hills works the same way. The residents who thrive here plan around it. They head to the coast, they travel, they visit family, and they come back in October when the desert turns into the most beautiful place on earth. The residents who actually thrive here have a rule: inside by 10 in the morning, pool by 4 in the afternoon. That's the rhythm of a desert summer. If you can live by that clock for 4 months out of the year, the heat becomes completely manageable. If you can't, well then the utility savings won't matter. But if you're expecting a mild year-round outdoor climate, this is not the place. The second thing to know is the location. Sun City Shadow Hills is in East Indio, and that puts you roughly 20 to 25 minutes from the higher-end dining, shopping, and nightlife in the Mid-Valley. You're trading the proximity to the valley's main social corridor for the peace and space on the east side. Most residents are completely fine with that, but if you want to walk to a good restaurant or be 5 minutes from everything, this location is going to feel very inconvenient. Third, and this is the one that I feel I have to warn certain buyers about specifically, is what I call high school in reverse. Same hallways, same faces, same social orbit, except now you're all retired and you have nothing but time. Word travels inside those gates. There are social circles, there are regulars, and there are people who are very much in the mix. I've had buyers, smart, lovely people, who moved in expecting a peaceful retreat, and then they felt like they accidentally joined a very enthusiastic club that they couldn't leave. If you're an extrovert, this is paradise, but if your ideal retirement involves a lot of solitude and being anonymous, I'd rather you hear that news from me now than figure it out 6 months later. The fourth con is that there's no new construction here. Every home is a resale. Now, some buyers actually love that because the yards are established and the work is already done. But if you've been picturing yourself picking out everything fresh, then this may not be the community for you. Quick pause here. If you're seriously researching Sun City Shadow Hills, I've put together a free PDF guide that breaks down every neighborhood inside the gates. Which streets have the best views? Which sections sit closest to the clubhouses, where the resale values have held the strongest? It's linked in the description below, so go grab it. It'll make everything we're about to cover hit a lot harder. So how do you actually know if Sun City Shadow Hills is your place? Well, here's what I want you to do. Grab a mental scorecard. I'm going to ask you 5 questions that determine if you belong here or not. Are you ready? Let's go. Here's question 1. Are you okay living east of Palm Springs and driving 20 to 25 minutes for high-end dining, for shopping, and for nightlife? Because that's really the reality of this location. You're in East Indio. El Paseo, the restaurants along Highway 111, the Mid-Valley Energy, well, that's a drive. So not a terrible drive, but a real one. Some buyers here say, no problem, I'm not going out every night anyway. Others say, hey, I'm going to really miss having that stuff close by. Neither answer is wrong, but you need to be honest about which kind of person you are before you fall in love with a floor plan. Question 2. Do you prioritize lower utility costs over being in the geographic center of the Coachella Valley? We've already covered the IID electric advantage. That's a $150 difference on a summer bill month to month. For buyers on a fixed income, that's a real edge, and for others, the location matters more than the bill. If controlling your monthly operating costs feels meaningful to your budget, this East Indio location starts to make a lot more sense. If it doesn't move the needle for you, well, that's worth knowing too. Question 3. Can you genuinely embrace a social, activity-heavy lifestyle where there's almost something going on? This one and the next question, well, these are the 2 that I asked the couple at the very start of the video. The ones that made them look at each other and realize that maybe this wasn't their place. So I want you to sit with this one because it's where I've seen buyers get it wrong more than any other question. If you light up around people, want to stay active, and love the idea of a packed calendar, this place was built for you. But if you're picturing a quiet retreat where you close the gate and disappear into your backyard, the culture here is going to feel like a lot. Remember what I said about high school in reverse? Well, that's not a criticism, it's just the reality of a tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone. Be honest with yourself here. Question 4. Are you comfortable buying a resale home in a fully built-out community with mature landscaping instead of new construction? There is no new construction at Sun City Shadow Hills. Every home is a resale. Some buyers actually prefer that. The yards are beautiful, the neighborhoods have character, and you're not watching dirt lots become someone's backyard for the next 2 years. But if you've been picturing yourself at a design center, picking out countertops and tile, making a home that's 100% yours from scratch, well, this may not be the community. And as I mentioned, Webb Desert Retreat, which is right next door, does have new inventory. People ask me all the time, is the new tile and the fresh paint at Desert Retreat worth a $200,000 premium over a resale home here in Sun City Shadow Hills? I'm answering that head-to-head at the end of this video. Question 5. Do you value resort-style amenities, 2 clubhouses, golf, pools, a full activity calendar, more than walkability to downtown? Sun City Shadow Hills is essentially self-contained. Most of what you need for a full active social life is inside those gates. What you're trading is a street-level walkability and the energy of a downtown neighborhood. If your ideal retirement looks like golf in the morning, lunch at the clubhouse, and a club meeting in the afternoon, well, this place delivers better than most anywhere else in the entire Coachella Valley. If you want to stroll to a coffee shop or pop into a gallery on foot, this lifestyle model isn't built around that. Okay, add up your yeses. 4 or 5? Sun City Shadow Hills was basically built for you. Seriously, reach out and let's find your home. Are you a 2 or 3? You're a maybe, and that's absolutely worth a conversation because the right home inside those gates can tip a maybe into a yes pretty fast. If you're a 1 or 0, well, I'd steer you somewhere else here in the Coachella Valley, and I mean that genuinely. There are very many communities that will fit into your life a lot better, and I'm here to help you find the right one. Sun City Shadow Hills is one of the best 55-plus communities in the entire Coachella Valley, but only if you're the right buyer. If your score says that that's you, use the link in the description to either call me or schedule a free Zoom consultation, and we'll put together a specific plan just for you. If you're still in research mode, grab my free Sun City Shadow Hills Neighborhood Guide. It's a PDF linked in the description, and it breaks down every section of the Sun City Shadow Hills community so you can know exactly where you'd want to land before you ever step inside the gates. And be sure to keep watching so you don't miss the head-to-head comparisons coming up between Sun City Shadow Hills, Sun City Palm Desert, and the Webb Retreat, which is right next door. Now, watch this next video all about living here in the Palm Springs area.